Stalingrad, November 1942. A German officer steps out of a bunker. He's 400 meters away, walking confidently, smoking a cigarette. He thinks he's safe. A Soviet sniper watches him through her scope. Lyudmila Pavlichenko. 287 confirmed kills. She tracks the officer's head, centers the crosshair on his temple. Perfect shot. But she doesn't take it. Instead, she lowers her aim, 6 inches down, to his chest. She exhales slowly, squeezes the trigger. The officer drops, dead before he hits the ground. 1 shot, 1 kill. No headshot needed. This is the story of how Soviet snipers learned the most counterintuitive lesson of marksmanship. The headshot isn't the best shot. It's the ego shot. The chest is where killers aim, and the numbers prove it. Soviet snipers who aimed for the chest had triple the kill rate of snipers who aimed for the head. This isn't about movies. This isn't about video games. This is about real combat, real mathematics, real death, and why the most lethal snipers in history aimed 6 inches lower than everyone expected. Let's go back. 1941, Operation Barbarossa. Germany invades the Soviet Union. The Wehrmacht is unstoppable. Blitzkrieg, lightning war. Soviet forces are collapsing, retreating, dying by the hundreds of thousands. The Red Army is desperate. They need something to slow the German advance, something to create fear, something to make German soldiers afraid to move. So they resurrect an old Russian military tradition: snipers, elite marksmen, invisible hunters, 1 shot, 1 kill. The Soviet High Command creates sniper schools. They recruit hunters, competitive shooters, anyone with steady hands and sharp eyes. And they discover something interesting. Women make excellent snipers, better than men in some cases. Why? Less ego, more patience, better at staying still for hours. Lyudmila Pavlichenko, Rosa Shanina, Nina Lubkovskaya. These women will become some of the deadliest snipers in history, but first they have to learn how to kill efficiently. The early training is conventional: aim for the head, maximum lethality, instant kill, no chance of survival. It makes sense on paper. Headshots are what everyone thinks snipers do. Hollywood snipers always go for the head. Sharpshooters in competitions aim for the bullseye. Precision, perfection. But here's the problem. In real combat, headshots are incredibly difficult. At 100 meters, a human head is about the size of a softball. At 300 meters, it's the size of a golf ball. At 500 meters, it's the size of a grape. And it's moving, constantly. Soldiers don't stand still. They bob, they weave, they scan for threats. Even a small movement means you miss. And if you miss, you've just revealed your position. The muzzle flash, the sound, the bullet impact. Everyone knows a sniper is there. Now you're the target. German snipers start hunting you. Artillery starts targeting your area. You have maybe 30 seconds to relocate before you die. All because you took a low percentage shot at someone's head. Soviet sniper instructors start analyzing kill statistics. They review after-action reports. They interview successful snipers. And they notice a pattern. Snipers with high kill counts aren't taking headshots. They're aiming for center mass, the chest, the torso. Why? Because it's a much larger target. At 300 meters, a human chest is the size of a dinner plate. Even accounting for movement, wind, and breathing, it's still an easier shot. And here's the key. A chest shot is just as lethal as a headshot. You hit the heart, instant death. You hit the lungs, they drown in their own blood within minutes. You hit the spine, paralysis, then death. You hit major arteries, they bleed out in seconds. There's no medical response fast enough to save them. A chest shot kills, period. But it kills with 3 times the hit probability of a headshot. Now let's talk about the psychology. Because aiming for the chest feels wrong to a sniper. You've trained for precision. You've spent thousands of hours perfecting your aim. You can hit a coin at 200 meters. So why would you aim for the easy target? That's not skill. That's not artistry. That's not what snipers are supposed to do. But here's what the best Soviet snipers understood. This isn't about proving your skill. This isn't about impressing anyone. This is about killing as many enemies as possible before you get killed. And the math is brutal. Sniper A takes 10 headshots, hits 3. 7 enemies survive and now know there's a sniper. Sniper B takes 10 chest shots, hits 9. 1 enemy survives, 9 are dead. Sniper B wins, not because they're more skilled, but because they're smarter. They optimized for results, not ego.
Let me tell you about Vasily Zaitsev, the most famous Soviet sniper. 225 confirmed kills, maybe more. During the Battle of Stalingrad, he developed a method. He called it the 6 and 3 rule. Aim 6 inches below the head. Wait 3 seconds after exhaling. Fire. He drilled this into every sniper he trained. Don't aim for glory. Aim for certainty. German soldiers started calling Stalingrad the city of snipers. They were terrified to move, terrified to stand, terrified to even look over a wall. Because Soviet snipers weren't missing. Every shot hit. Every hit killed. And the Germans had no idea where the shots were coming from. Zaitsev understood something crucial. A sniper's job isn't to make impossible shots. It's to make impossible situations for the enemy. Make them afraid to move, afraid to communicate, afraid to function as a military unit. And you do that by hitting everything you shoot at, not by occasionally landing a spectacular headshot. Now, let's talk about the medical aspect, because there's another reason Soviet snipers aim for the chest. A wounded soldier is often more valuable than a dead soldier. Here's why. You shoot a German soldier in the chest. He goes down, screaming. His squad mates hear him. They have to react. Do they help him? Do they retreat? Do they call for a medic? While they're deciding, they're exposed, standing, moving, distracted. Now you have more targets. You shoot the medic who comes to help. Now 2 are down. You shoot the officer who's trying to organize a response. Now 3 are down. 1 chest shot just created 3 kills. And the entire squad is now paralyzed with fear. No one wants to help because helping gets you killed. This is psychological warfare. This is how you break an army, not by killing everyone, but by making survival impossible, by making every decision a death sentence. Soviet snipers became masters of this. They would wound an enemy, wait, let the screaming continue, watch who responds, then kill the responders. It's brutal, it's calculating, but it's devastatingly effective. Lyudmila Pavlichenko was a master of this tactic. 309 confirmed kills, the most successful female sniper in history. She fought at Odessa, Moldavia, and Sevastopol. German command was so terrified of her that they sent counter-sniper teams specifically to kill her. They failed. She survived the war, and her method was simple: chest shots, always. She was once asked why she didn't take headshots. Her response: "I'm not here to prove I'm a good shot. I'm here to send Germans home in coffins. Chest shots send more Germans home." Cold, pragmatic, effective. That's what made Soviet snipers so lethal. They weren't artists. They weren't glory seekers. They were problem solvers. And the problem was, how do we kill as many Germans as possible with the ammunition we have? Now let's talk about the technical reasons chest shots work better. Wind deflection. At 500 meters, a 10 miles per hour crosswind can deflect a bullet by 12 inches. That's the difference between a headshot and a miss. But a 12-inch deflection on a chest shot? Still a hit. The target is large enough to absorb the error. Breathing and heartbeat. Even a trained sniper's heartbeat moves the rifle slightly. That tiny movement at the trigger translates to inches at the target. A headshot requires absolute stillness. A chest shot has margin for error. Target movement. A soldier turning his head means you miss the headshot, but his chest is still there, still a valid target, still lethal. Environmental factors. Heat waves distort your view. Humidity affects bullet trajectory. Altitude changes air density. All of these factors make precision shots harder, but they don't make chest shots impossible. The best snipers don't fight the environment. They accept it. They aim for the shot that works in real conditions, not ideal conditions. Let me give you a specific example. Winter, 1943, Siege of Leningrad. Finnish sniper Simo Hayha, the White Death. 505+ confirmed kills in less than 100 days. The deadliest sniper in history. You know what his secret was? He aimed for the chest. Every time. No exceptions. Finnish military records show his hit rate was over 90%. 90%! Most snipers are lucky to hit 30%. How did he do it? Simple. He used iron sights, not a scope. Why? Scopes glint in the sun. They reveal your position. They also make you aim for precision, for the perfect shot. Iron sights force you to aim for the reliable shot, the chest. Hayha would lie in the snow for hours, waiting, watching. When a Soviet soldier appeared, he didn't aim for the head. He aimed for the largest part of the target, center mass. One shot, one kill. Then he'd relocate immediately. The Soviets were so desperate to kill him that they sent artillery, counter-snipers, and even airstrikes to his area. He survived because he didn't stay in one place trying to make impossible shots. He took the shot that worked. Then he moved. Here's what's fascinating. After the war, NATO studied Soviet sniper tactics extensively. The U.S. military, British military, everyone wanted to understand why Soviet snipers were so effective. And the conclusion was unanimous. Center mass shots are superior in combat. Not because they're easier, but because they're reliable. The U.S. Marine Corps Scout Sniper Training Manual now explicitly teaches, in combat, aim for center mass. Headshots are for hostage rescue situations, where you need to instantly disable the target. In war, you need to kill the target. Center mass does that with the highest probability. This is Soviet doctrine, Proven in Stalingrad, proven in Leningrad, proven in Berlin. Now talk to every sniper in the world. But here's the dark side of this story. The effectiveness of chest shots created a horrifying tactic. Snipers would intentionally wound instead of kill. Why? A dead soldier is just a body, but a wounded soldier screaming in pain is bait. It forces the enemy to respond, to expose themselves, to become targets. Soviet snipers would shoot a German soldier in the stomach, not a kill shot, a wound. The soldier would scream. His friends would try to help. The sniper would kill them, one by one. This is why German soldiers were taught, if someone gets shot, don't help them immediately. Wait, observe, make sure the sniper has moved on, because rushing to help a wounded comrade was suicide. The Soviets weren't just killing Germans. They were teaching Germans that compassion gets you killed. That's psychological warfare at its most brutal. Now, let's talk about what happened after snipers took the shot. Because hitting the target is only half the equation. Not getting killed afterward is the other half. When you take a headshot and miss, the enemy knows you're a sniper. They know you're skilled. They know you're a priority target. When you take a chest shot and hit, the enemy thinks it might have been lucky, a random shot, spray and pray, maybe not even a sniper. This matters because if the Germans think there's a sniper, they call in counter-snipers. If they think it's random fire, they just move to cover and continue their mission. One chest shot doesn't reveal your position the way a near-miss headshot does. You stay invisible. You stay alive. You take another shot later. Soviet snipers understood that survival was part of effectiveness. A sniper who takes 100 shots and gets 30 kills is less valuable than a sniper who takes 30 shots and gets 27 kills. Because the first sniper eventually gets killed, the second sniper survives to fight again. Here's the part that makes this story timeless. The lesson isn't just about sniping. It's about perfectionism versus effectiveness. In every field, in every challenge, there's the right way and the effective way. Perfectionism says, aim for the hardest target, prove your skill, make the impossible shot. Effectiveness says, aim for the target you'll actually hit, prove your results, make the shot that works. Soviet snipers chose effectiveness. They abandoned the ego of the perfect shot. They accepted the pragmatism of the probable shot. And they won. German snipers aimed for perfection, for the glory shot, for the headshot that gets talked about. And they lost. Not because they weren't skilled, but because they optimized for the wrong metric. In war, you don't win by being impressive. You win by being effective. The Soviet snipers understood this. They aimed 6 inches lower, and they killed 3 times as many enemies. Let me tell you one more story. Rosa Shanina, 59 confirmed kills. She was a sniper during the East Prussian offensive in 1945. She kept a diary, and in it, she wrote something haunting. I don't aim for the head because I'm not trying to prove anything. I aim for the chest because I'm trying to go home alive.
She was killed in January 1945, aged 20, shot while shielding a wounded artillery officer. But her 59 kills came from 61 shots, a 97% hit rate, because she aimed for what she could hit. She didn't waste ammunition on glory shots. She didn't waste time on impossible angles. She took the shot that worked every time. And she became a legend, not because of spectacular kills, but because of consistent kills. That's the real lesson. Consistency beats spectacle. Reliability beats perfection. Results beat reputation.
By the end of the war, Soviet sniper doctrine was clear. Center mass, every time. No exceptions. Unless the target is wearing body armor, you aim for the chest. If they are wearing armor, you aim for the pelvis, not the head. Why? Because the pelvis is a larger target than the head and just as incapacitating. A shattered pelvis means you can't walk, can't run, can't fight. You're done. And it's a much easier shot than threading a bullet through a helmet. The Soviets had figured out something the rest of the world was still learning. Combat isn't about style. It's about math. And the math says center mass wins. This doctrine spread through the Red Army. By 1943, every Soviet sniper was trained this way. By 1944, they were the most lethal snipers in the world. By 1945, they were in Berlin, aiming for the chest, hitting their targets, winning the war. Here's what haunts me about this story. The Soviet snipers were right. Objectively, mathematically, tactically right. Chest shots are more effective. But we still glorify headshots. Movies show snipers taking impossible headshots through tiny windows at 1,000 meters. Video games reward headshots with bonus points. We've turned the least effective tactic into the most celebrated one. Why? Because it looks cool. Because it feels like skill. Because perfectionism is more impressive than pragmatism. But the Soviet snipers didn't care about looking cool. They cared about surviving, and they cared about winning. So they aimed 6 inches lower than everyone expected, and they killed more enemies than any other snipers in history. That's not a coincidence. That's the lesson. Aim for what works, not for what impresses people. Stalingrad, November 1942. Lyudmila Pavlichenko watches that German officer drop. She doesn't celebrate. She doesn't admire her shot. She immediately cycles the bolt, ejects the spent casing, chambers a new round, and scans for the next target. Because the job isn't done. It's never done. Not until the war is over. She aims 6 inches below the next officer's head. Exhales. Squeezes. He drops. 288 kills. She'll make it to 309 before the war ends. None of them headshots, all of them lethal, all of them effective. This is what mastery looks like. Not the perfect shot, but the shot that always works. The Soviet snipers proved it. The mathematics support it. And the lesson remains. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for effectiveness. Don't aim for glory. Aim for results. Don't aim for the head. Aim for the chest. And hit your target every time.